Ladies and gentlemen, a second development diary for the 1.2 update for EU5 and the Fate of the Phoenix DLC has just hit the EU5 towers, and that's exactly what we're here to talk about today. In this video, we'll be going over some major changes that will be brought to the Orthodox religion, which I think is about to make it one of the most powerful religions in EU5, and huge changes and a complete overhaul to the Hellenism religion. That's right, the ancient Greek religion is going to be making a comeback in EU5 1.2. And of course, we'll be going over some other free changes as well. And at the end of the video, something very important if you guys care about how EU5 is going to be developing in the future and a chance to make your voices heard. So without further ado, let's jump right in and see what all the news is about. All right, here we are back with Tinto Talks 101, ladies and gentlemen, presented by Saint Dave right here. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Hello and welcome to another Tinto Talks, where we're currently looking at the additional features for the 1.2 Echinades patch and the Fate of the Phoenix immersion pack that will release alongside it. As mentioned last week, the primary pillars of the Fate of the Phoenix are the day-to-day running of the state and the mid-term goals for reconquering near the Empire. I mentioned this last week as well. Check that out if you haven't already, that video. I do think these changes that we talked about last week and what we're about to talk about today are going to be very, very awesome. These pillars tie heavily into the interactions we have incorporated into religion for the DLC. And immediately we open up with Orthodoxy, ladies and gentlemen. Orthodoxy is, of course, the central religion in Fate of the Phoenix, being tied so inextricably to the Roman state. Byzantium, of course, Byzantium is Orthodox. You could, of course, be one of those weirdos that does a different religion playthrough for Byzantium, but really, you're not a Bizaboo if you do that, are you? The basic system of Orthodoxy still operates within the confines of the Patriarchates, both ecumenical and autocephalous. Basically, the ecumenical patriarchate is the main one, right? The one that Byzantium holds, the patriarchate of Constantinople. And then, of course, you guys might know that other Orthodox countries already have or can have autocephalous patriarchates of their own. A notable example is Serbia, which gets to create one after it becomes an empire. So all of these things will, be further developed. And right here immediately, we have an awesome image for Orthodoxy, ladies and gentlemen. And I gotta say, man, this art right here, aside from the character, and the character actually isn't too bad either, but the art surrounding it, man, is absolutely awesome. I love the background art as well, and along with these things right here, so I think that's super, super awesome. But yeah, Orthodoxy, man, immediately looks different right here. Of course, we'll talk about what all of these things mean, but we got some of the laws right here, some of the tenets that can be passed, saints that are a part of the Orthodox religion, holy sites, and members, of course, of the ecumenical patriarchate of Constantinople. Now, here's something very important. Patriarchs are now characters in their own right who appear at the head of the patriarchates instead of the ruler. Yes, this is something that definitely should have been in the game since the start, and I'm glad that this has been put in. So this has the potential for some very, very cool things that I'll mention, just my opinion and stuff like that, but we'll get into it. Some patriarchal laws are so sacred they cannot ever be changed. Their permanence is now visually shown in the GUI, which I think are well, which ones are they? I guess we'll have to see, but I don't get it just off of the image right there. We've also added several more holy sites for the religion, including monasteries like Mount Athos. Damn, there was actually a pretty big earthquake over here yesterday. And the Kiev Petchersk Lavra, as well as the, I'm not going to try and pronounce this, cathedral. So we can see right here we have the various sees, which are actually part of the Pentarchy in Orthodoxy, which we'll get into very soon. We got the Constantinople Patriarchal See, the, Jerusalem, Alexandria, Antioch, and Rome. And then we have some holy sites right here, like Mount Athos, St. Catherine's Monastery, the something, of course, as Georgian Cathedral, another monastery in Georgia, the Kiev Petchersk Lavra in Kiev, Rila Monastery, which is in Bulgaria, this monastery, which is in Serbia, this is Cyprus, Byzantium, who's that? Trebizond. And these two should be Trebizond. Yes, that's right, the Trapezontine Empire. So that is very nice to see as well. Awesome additions right here. Greek Orthodox countries now use the Koine dialect, pronounced Kini, okay? We now use the Kini dialect as their liturgical language instead of common Greek. Okay, I guess we'll see if this is a significant enough change. Nevertheless, very good flavor-wise. And yeah, now we move on to actions, as all Eastern Christian religions no longer use right power. Instead, they have a change to the generic religious influence system, which is honestly not too big of a change, but I guess it's for the better. As the proud owner of a patriarchal seat, which is one of these 5 right here, let's see, where was I? You can spend some religious influence and, of course, cash to have your children be educated by the patriarch himself. This is very cool, which is the finest education in the game in terms of ability development. That's really good. That's actually really good. Wow. So the ability increase during education is 0.8. Wow. Wow, that's strong. Of course, it does lower your religious influence, but it's very strong. I actually like this change a lot, man. Yeah, that's absolutely dope. Like you got like the most important guy educating your guys. Yeah, that's awesome. If you don't happen to own an autocephalous patriarchate, you can invite a delegation from the patriarchate that you belong to at the cost of influence, which improves mutual opinion with the patriarch's country and allows you to select a bonus of your choice. And we have some bonuses right here, for example, which is nice. Monthly religious influence and pop conversion speed. Wow, those bonus, well, at least this one, the one that we can see, is actually pretty powerful, dude. Damn, man, Orthodox is shaping up to be like really good, at least from what we're reading so far. I like this quite a lot as well. So maybe, yeah, there's actually no huge downside to not having an autocephalous patriarchate. You know, even if you're just part of one, you can still do all of these things, which is absolutely awesome. I like that quite a lot. Next, moving on, owners of icon works of art can lend them to other Orthodox countries to earn a bit of cold hard cash relative to the quality of the work of the art. It warms relations between both countries, and the recipient country gets the benefit from the icon from 10 years. Yeah, this is good. This is probably pretty good for MP as well, I think. And, you know, if you're playing an Orthodox country, let's say, I don't know, Bez, I guess, since we're talking about Bez, you need maybe an ally or two to push into some country that's grown big in Anatolia. It's hard for you to link up with Serbia or Bulgaria, right? You ally Serbia and Bulgaria, go in on Anatolia, clean that up, then turn your back on Serbia and Bulgaria. This is pretty good. This honestly might make it easier for them to ally them, because look, this is, I guess, okay, so someone from Serbia has approached our court. That they changed Serbia's name as well, with an icon, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we gain 15 trust of Serbia and 50 opinion. We lose some money. They gain, oh, okay, so this is us as Bulgaria, I guess. They're changing Bulgaria, dude, look at this. Yo, changes to EU5 that haven't been actually announced. I've found them out right here live, ladies and gentlemen. So first of all, man, they changed the name of Serbia. This, I think, should mean the Kingdom of Serbia, right? Because a lot of countries in EU5 have their own name, like basically kingdom, but in their language. And some countries in EU5 have it too. A lot of countries in EU4 did, but I guess a lot more localization of names, which is always nice for flavor. But look at this. Serbia gains 15 trust equilibrium. Okay, that's... Trust is being changed to trust equilibrium now, I guess. Another change of the Bulgarian Tsardom. So if we imagine that this is at the start of the game, Bulgaria hasn't formed an empire, I think Bulgaria is being fixed to actually be an empire at the start of the game, which is what a Tsardom is, right? Yeah, very nice. Okay, but yeah, either way, the offer for someone to have icons and you gain stuff with them makes it easier for alliances. I actually like this very much. So everything we've gone through so far, awesome changes. Next up, though, another huge change, the Pentarchy. Okay, so with Fate of the Phoenix, we introduce a new feature called the Pentarchy, which was kinda present in EU4. It represents the 5 most important patriarchates in the world, 5 permanent pillars that anchor Christianity and were formalized into the Pentarchy by Justinian I. The ancient apostolic sees of Constantinople, Rome, Jerusalem, Antioch, and Alexandria need no introduction. They have their roots in the ancient world and still exist today. So, we have a visual sort of representation of the Pentarchy right here. Once again, art is absolutely crazy, dude. I love the art that's being put into this DLC. So we have, obviously, we are Byzantium, right? Or, well, this is technically the only one that exists, right? Because of the schism and stuff like that. So we got the Patriarchate of Constantinople, which, you know, is, I guess, I haven't read it yet, or maybe it doesn't say it yet, but we'll see, is owned by an Orthodox country. So realistically, if we're playing as Byzantium here, if I'm understanding this correctly, Because we own that seat in the Pentarchy, we gain this bonus, which is 0.5 diplomats per month. Then we have Jerusalem, which is Hierosolima in... What language is this? Greek? Which gives us a 0.05 prestige per month. This one is... I'm just looking at the modifiers right here. These don't seem that powerful, but we'll get into it. Okay, Jerusalem gives you 0.05 prestige per month. Rome gives you minus 5% cost of court. Antioch gives you plus 1% estate's satisfaction equilibrium. And Alexandria gives you 2.5% research speed. Okay, going off of these, this is just my 2 cents here. I don't know if it works like that. I guess we'll read. I know I'm talking out of turn right here. Maybe we should go back after we finish reading this, but yeah, just looking at these modifiers right here, I feel like they should be more powerful. 5% discount on cost of court is actually pretty good, but this I think should give you 1. This should be like 0.1 instead of 0.05. This is definitely the weakest one. I feel like this should be 5%, and this is good-ish, but this one could go with 5% as well. But we'll see. We'll see. Uniting the Pentarchy should be a main long-term goal of any Orthodox empire, obviously. Holding each member of the Pentarchy, grants you a unique bonus, and uniting all of the Patriarchy under your control will increase all of their bonuses. Okay, that's good. That's good. So yeah, this is us. And wait, there's different guys? Why is this guy of both of these? Then another guy is here, and another guy here, and another guy here. Yeah, that I don't get how it works. But yeah, these bonuses, I don't know if they're the basic ones or not. But yeah, I don't know. Increase all of their bonuses if you unite all of them. Yeah, maybe that's what they should be, what I just mentioned. I guess these are just some of the base ones. But yeah, let's move on. I like this. I like this. Uniting the Pentarchy will also give you the option of finally mending the Western Schism with Catholicism, at least in theory. We all know how that worked in EU4, which actually, it was quite powerful in EU4, man. Pretty much every country that liked you, that had a good opinion of you, once you mended the schism as Byzantium, basically conquered all of the entire Pentarchy, they flipped to Orthodox, like fully instantly. Like you're allied to a Giga France, or you got like Giga France as a junior partner as Byzantium in EU4, they instantly flipped to Orthodox, and all of their provinces also instantly converted to Orthodox as well, which is pretty powerful. I wonder if that's similar to how it's going to be in EU5. But unilaterally declaring the Western Schism over will bring you a significant boost to your heretic conversion speed. That's awesome. Some Catholic popes in the West will convert to Orthodoxy, and some friendly Catholic countries might flip too. Yeah, so yeah, basically a lot more realistic than EU4. Some Catholic popes, how much is that? I guess it remains to be seen. Some friendly Catholic countries might flip too. This I feel like is fair, right? Let's say you're allied to, I don't know, man, a number 2 great power in the world, France, as Byzantium. You're a pretty huge Byzantium at this point too, right? France probably wouldn't do that. If you're linked up with, like, I don't know, maybe, I'm giving a stupid example here, but Teutonic Order, the size that they are at the start of the game, yeah, I feel like a country of that size could flip, could be pressure. But yeah, I like this quite a lot. I just want to see how much some Catholic pops is, right? It is unilateral, of course, but I feel like the amount of pops that convert to Orthodoxy should be similar to the amount of pops that convert to like Protestant or whatever whenever the Reformation spawns. So yeah, that's pretty good too. And here's an event, Mending the Schism. There is but one Christian church. Of course, we're doing this unilaterally. So yeah, after you mend the schism, once you do that, you can also choose to restore the primacy of Rome, which will relocate your autocephalous patriarchate to St. Peter's Basilica in Rome itself. A very prestigious move. Doing so will severely damage the authority of the exiled Catholic Pope, degrading the Catholic Church's papal authority law to invisible church, meaning they no longer receive tithes. Yeah, I mean, listen, if it wasn't enough, man, you add insult to injury over here. I like that quite a lot. And there's basically restoring the primacy of Rome right there. Is Romi really how you say it in Greek? I guess it is. And then moving on to extras. Okay, so owners of the DLC will also see lots of art, like immersive event illustrations and 3D character portraits for patriarchs and regular clergymen. Coptic has also benefited from some additional rework by virtue of sharing a lot of systems with Orthodoxy, but we've also added some additional features to separate them a little, such as religious aspects. Yeah, that's absolutely awesome, man. Absolutely awesome. This is Coptic right here, by the way, so it's same but different, but kind of the same. But obviously a welcome change. And now that we've gone through Orthodoxy, ladies and gentlemen, it's been very weak for very long, man, and I'm glad they're finally putting it up to a level that's comparable to Catholic, because even in EU4, man, Catholic and Orthodox, in my opinion, at least for regular gameplay, right, if you're not doing some super niche stuff, were the most powerful religions. And I think, realistically, they should be in EU5 as well, right? I mean, they're kind of the main ones in Europe at the start, at least until, the blue guys spawn. But yeah. Now, moving on to Hellenism. Since an Easter egg resurgence of Hellenism was in the base game, yes, it was, you get an advisor or whatever as Byzantium telling you to flip, we felt it was worthwhile expanding on it just a little. I love it. Gemistos Plethon was a real figure from 15th century Byzantium who wrote about Platoism, a philosophical system harking back to Plato's ancient Greece that could be considered somewhat syncretic between Christianity and Hellenistic paganism. Very, very tiny image right here, but yeah, there he is. I think the thing right here is pretty much the same, man. Yeah, he's far too important. Allow him to continue is what you want to do to flip to Hellenic, at least even right now. I guess that's how it will be in EU in the update as well. He preached that the Hellenistic understanding of God was comparable with the Christian understanding, and that the ancient Greek pantheon should form the basis of the Byzantine state religion. Although he frequently danced close to being branded as a heretic, he retained good connections in the Byzantine court. As such, Hellenism is at its outset will feel more like a heresy of Christianity than true paganism. Interesting. This is reflected in the monism religious aspect that they will begin with. The belief that the one is God and all gods are the one, which somewhat reduce the impact of the individual gods while giving you stability. But that's only by starting with the monism religious aspect. So here we have a look at Hellenism, man. Once again, crazy art. I love the freaking pantheon up here. I love the statues right here of the gods, man. So yeah, primary religion Hellenism, liturgical language Greek. Okay, conversion, holy sites, so okay, that's all cool. It's green as well, so this is a pretty heavy Hellenistic Byzantium. This is Hellenism. This is Orthodox, Catholic, a Coptic. Shia? I feel like Sunni's darker green than that. But yeah, look at this, man. Hellenism, religion breakdown, holy sites. So offered omens. You can offer omens, 6 gods. The ones that you have offered. Admin Diplomil. You got Zeus, Aphrodite, Poseidon, Hermes, Ares, and Athena. And 1 religious aspect. That's interesting. Very cool. I love the way it looks. We still don't know what any of these mean. I guess we'll be reading some more about that right now. If you hold all the holy sites for the Hellenistic religion, how many are there? 21. Okay, 21. You can also declare a return to the old ways without having to wait for Plethon to appear. Oh, interesting. Okay, so you conquer all of those things. You don't actually have to wait for this event. Okay, that's cool. 2 ways to do it. Very nice. This kind of player-driven heresy is something we want to look at for other religions like Anglicanism eventually. Yes. This is exactly what I talked about last week, man, regarding events and stuff like that. Anglican, I just recently played Anglican for the first time. I do think it's very cool. I think Anglican is a very nicely designed religion and stuff like that. But you just never know how to become Anglican, man. If you don't know, now you know. I'll say it again. You need it to be between 1530 and 1560, and you need to have a male ruler older than 20 years, I think, that has no male children. Did you know that? Because I didn't up until last week. So yeah, now we at least know this, man. Obviously, I hope that this will be like written down somewhere instead of not just a wiki and stuff like that, so we can know. But yeah, I do hope they will make it easier to trigger Anglican as well, just based off of this, because now they're doing it 2 ways, right? Either the holy sites or the advisor guy, which is very nice. Moving on to gods. The gameplay loop of Hellenism is a little unique. Historically, praying to individual gods was considered a ruler's civic duty roughly every 10 to 20 years. Players will be able to perform a ritual to one of 6 gods, which is these guys right here, ranging from Zeus to Athena. Looking at this right here, invoke Omen with Zeus. Man, if that goes hard, bro. That goes so hard, yo. That actually goes so hard. Yeah, we got Poseidon, Zeus, yeah, Hermes right there, yeah. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Okay, so you can do the bountiful one. You invoke these omens. Plus 33.75% food production? Clergy satisfaction and enrichment, and prestige. This might be too powerful, but at the same time, maybe not. I like the other two. Yeah, this is awesome, dude. The art is actually nutty. And look at this too, dude. Look at the detail here as well. And you got the little mosaic tops up here. You know, normally when I play a regular game, I don't care about these stuff because you're just looking at optimal option. But, you know, now that I'm actually taking a look at these, they're really good. They're really good. Okay, each god has 10 unique omens up their sleeve. Wow, that's a lot, man. And upon paying your religious influence, they'll give you a small random selection to choose from. Once you select that omen, it stays active for 10 years. Yeah, and I guess, yeah, you got all the omens active right here. So with Zeus, you got the food. Aphrodite, what is this? Add culture cost? Accept culture cost? Maybe that's it, you know, because love, right? Galley power? 51% from Poseidon? Yep, that's expected. Proximity speed? 34%? Or integration speed? What is that from Hermes? Oh my god, these are actually crazy, dude. Look at this. Look at Athena. Holy! Oh my god, these are... You know, I'm not usually one to mope about this is too powerful or stuff like that, but... Yo, these are crazy, man. Yo, Hellenism, Byzantium playthrough, man. When the DLC drops, let me know if you want to see it. I'll definitely start doing guides then. So you'll definitely be seeing a regular Byzantium guide, an actual proper guide. But as for just a regular-ass playthrough, let me know if you want to see Hellenism Biz, man. That would be banging. Omens are expensive, but very powerful modifiers. Yeah, we can see. As the ritual is so closely tied to the ruler, the power of each omen will increase depending on your ruler's admin, diplo, or military ability. Depending on the category of the god. Interesting. So that is what this is right here. Yeah, so these two guys are admin category, these two are diplo category, and these two are mil category. So that's why this is so powerful. So what's the max here if on 72% it's 51? Like 75? That would be crazy. Yeah, that's really good. They get a small selection of different religious aspects that, for example, allow the canonization of god emperors. What is this? Paul Madiba treaties, man? Or improving the power of omens. Here's a sneak peek. Oh, okay, that's it. Okay, so yeah, about Hellenism, man. Excellent, excellent changes as well. I honestly didn't expect this to be so cool, but it is, and I'm glad that the devs are adding in stuff like this. You know, some of you might be thinking, why don't they, you know, fix, I don't know, insert any other religion here instead of working on Hellenism. But guys, this is a biz update, man. So that's what it's gonna focus on, right? The free patch as well. So, yeah, I like this quite a lot, man. I like this quite a lot. And then finally wrapping it up, here's a sneak peek of one of the several quality of life features that we've been working on. While playing with the religious features of Fate of the Phoenix, I found it pretty handy to assign all of my religious map modes to a single slot, so I could cycle through them all easily. Yes. Yes, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Map rework, baby. Let's freaking get it, dude. So first of all, not only have they added that, basically like it was in EU5, you know, you click www or TTEERR, cycle through the maps and stuff like that. Honestly, boys, man, since the default key bindings, and this is partially my fault as well, since I never bothered to rebind anything, and I don't even use WAS, you know, it's control letter to go, like control W, for example, is for me political, right? But now I am very used to control stuffing, but you know, it's so annoying to set all of these up that I've never set them up in the way that I used them in EU4, but now it's gonna be absolutely excellent, man. Yeah, we can have, like, how many slots are there in EU4? I guess it's like 10, of which I got 2 or 3 in all of them. Yeah, you can put like 20 or 30 map modes in just like 10 of these, which is absolutely awesome. And even better, dude, these things down here, just like a nice wide map mode UI, a mod that I use right now, they're not stacked like this on top of each other. So you hover over one, and then when you hover over that one, it blocks the two neighboring ones. They're finally completely split, which I love, love, love. Excellent, man. Another dev diary, at least for me, boys. I don't have anything negative to say about this one, man. It's getting me even more and more hyped for 1.2 and the Fate of the Phoenix Immersion Pack. And I think so far what we're looking at, man, it's gonna be absolutely banging. So with all that said, next week is Easter, so a lot of the team will be off, but not me. I'll be bringing you another Tinto Talks that takes a deeper look at the general flavor for Biz that is spread throughout the game. Yo, shout out Saint Dev, man. Appreciate that, bud. But yeah, that's been it for Tinto Talks 101, ladies and gentlemen, and everything that we have to go through here today. Obviously, leave a comment below of what you think about all of this, but the video is not done because I have something very important to talk about and go through together with you guys that I think is pretty important for Paradox. And if you guys are enjoyers and you know, want to make your opinion heard about the future of EU5, you should look into as well. And that is a feedback survey posted by Paradox. Let's go do it together. All right, so this was posted over on the forums, and I saw it on Reddit too, maybe on the EU Instagram as well. Ryagi posted it. Over the past few months, you've shared a lot of feedback across all our platforms. It's our job as well, it's their job as the community to make sure every voice gets a chance to be heard, not just the loudest ones. Yes, this means not just me, obviously, because, you know, I kind of am louder than a lot of people, but also instead of just, you know, maybe the hyper min-maxing guys that are over on, let's say, I don't know, one platform, and then you got like MP guys over on another platform, and then you got like roleplay guys over on another platform, right? So everyone's just shouting over each other, and I think this is actually a great way to put that together. That's why we've put together our first ever EU5 community feedback survey. It takes 5 to 10 minutes and covers everything from game systems to nation flavor and community communication. All responses are anonymous except mine, which is going to be public because you're going to see it right now. I hope I'm not breaking any rules with that, but results will be reviewed by the team at Paradox Tinto. To ensure the most accurate survey data, survey responses will be closed on April 8th, 2026. So this is it right here, man. It's been posted on the Reddit. It's on the Paradox forums as well over in the U5 section. This is the survey. So I'm going to go ahead and do it right now. You guys should do it if you want to, of course. I think it would help the devs. Just, you know, don't goof off. Don't, you know, put bullshit in there, make it, you know, actually fill it out. All right, so here we are on the survey. Just got to remember to edit out my email address when I edit this video. Let's go next and let's see what it's all about. So give us a basic understanding of who you are as a player. Your answers will help us put your feedback in context. Okay, how many hours do you have in EU5? 500 plus. How would you describe your playstyle? Select all that apply. Okay. So I would say, you know, at least for me, these kind of depend on the video I'm making, right? So I do play with game mods, right? But it's not like, you know, Anbenor and mods like that, right? So I wouldn't say I'm multiplayer focused or playing with game mods, but I do roleplay and historical immersion focus. I would say I rarely optimize and min-max, but when I am doing, you know, like tall playthroughs, I do that as well. But, you know, honestly, I would describe myself as a casual, but not occasional player, because I do tend to, you know, just play the game and have fun. You know, if we lose, we lose. If we win, we win, right? Just trying to make a fun video. So I think all three of these at least matter for me. And obviously, boys, if you know, you guys are doing the survey as well, man, don't copy like Red Hawk answers if you think, you know, like I'm right or something because I'm, you know, making videos. You guys are smart enough to, you know, do it on your own the way you guys perceive these things. So let's move on. Tell us how you feel about EU5 in its current state. How satisfied are you with EU5? That can't be a mosquito. It's too early for mosquitoes. What the hell? Okay, how satisfied are you with EU5 in its current state? 1.1.10. I would say I'm pretty satisfied, man. I'm pretty satisfied. I'd never go as far as to say 5, you know, that's like perfect game for me, and this is a game that I would never play, so I'm gonna go 4. I'm actually pretty satisfied. Compared to when you first started playing EU5, well, for me, that's a very long time ago. How has your satisfaction changed? Damn it, man. You know, to think of it, when was the first time we got a EU5? Was it May that we did those videos? Or something like that? I don't know. I don't remember. It wasn't May, was it? Yeah. Compared to when you first started playing U5, how has your satisfaction changed? Significantly improved, slightly improved, stayed around the same, slightly decreased, significantly decreased. Okay, so I would say, man, at least for me, you know, if this is like the base level of satisfaction you got going on right here, which this isn't like the middle or anything, it's pretty high up actually. I would say it was like this, and then it sort of tanked when, you know, we got stuck with 1.0.10 for like a month, right? Dropped just before New Year, and then everyone went on holiday. So satisfaction definitely dropped during that, but after that, man, since I've been playing 1.1, at least, you know, I played the beta ever since it released, it did get increased. And now I would say it's even above what it was since when I started playing. However, performance has decreased, at least for me. And I do have like a really, really powerful PC, man, here. So I would say slightly improved maybe, or stayed around the same. Honestly, I'd put it in between these two. But I'm definitely going to go with slightly improved right here. Okay, moving on to the next page right here. Rate the core areas of the game and let us know where you feel we have more work to do. Interesting. Okay, let's take a look at these. How would you rate the following areas of the game in its current state? 1, very poor, 5, excellent. Okay. Economy and trade systems, AI, behavioral and historical plausibility, UI clarity and ease of use, content depth and nation flavor, dynamic historical events, situations, game performance, and stability. Okay. Okay, this one is pretty in-depth. So at least for me, man, honestly, I can say I'm very satisfied with the economy and trade systems, right? Obviously, you know, I never go so far as to do, you know, those hyper min-maxing stuff, right? I do have trade and building on automation most of the time, and at least for the way I play, you know, and sometimes, of course, you do trades manually. I do trades manually to get certain stuff in so we can build stuff. Buildings, I would say, I'm 40% building myself, 60% I let the game do stuff. I obviously do a lot of the infrastructure, the control stuff myself and stuff like that. So economy and trade systems, I actually think, for me at least, for the way I play, it's excellent. Could it be better? Sure, but I wouldn't go as to say it's 4. So for me, this one is a 5. Now, AI behavior and historical plausibility. I feel like these should be 2 different ones, but I'm gonna group them into one just as it's right here. So AI behavior, ever since 1.1, I'm actually pretty satisfied when you play on that normal aggression setting right here. I feel like countries do go to war and stuff like that often enough. You know, they expand, blah, blah, blah. But historical plausibility, nah. Historical plausibility is, I would rate it a 0, man. I would rate it a 0. Well, maybe not, maybe not. Maybe I'm being too harsh here because in certain regions, the game does tend to develop pretty well. But in others, it just doesn't develop well at all. The most jarring example, obviously, as you all guys know, is Ottomans, man. They don't do anything really, and when they do, they never, you know, become big enough in the time that they're supposed to. Obviously, you know, we're gonna go back and forth on these things for a bit, but you know, you can remember what I'm saying right now. In a couple of years, we'll have a way to full annex, or at least full vassalize, the Mamluks as the Ottomans. That's just inevitable. So historical plausibility, I'm not satisfied with, man. I'm actually gonna go with this one on a 2, just because I'm not satisfied. I'm not dissatisfied with AI behavior that much, although historical plausibility. So if I could rate these separately, AI behavior I'd put at 3, and historical plausibility I'd put at 1, but because they're both together, I'm gonna go with 2 on that one. Then UI clarity and ease of use. I know a lot of people have, you know, complaints about the UI and stuff. For me, it's honestly not that bad. I'm actually pretty satisfied with it. I wouldn't go so far as for a 5, but I'm pretty satisfied. And then moving on to another more in-depth one, content depth and nation flavor. So that means, you know, historical events, situations, organizations that certain nations belong to, unique advances and stuff like that, estate stuff. So, and this is one of the things I've been at least the most critical. I don't know if I've been that critical in my videos, but, you know, when I think about EU5, these are the things I think about, man. Obviously, you guys know I've been a big critic of EU5 not having mission trees and stuff like that. And even though the main thing, at least for me, what made countries unique in EU4 wasn't mission trees, okay? It wasn't mission trees for me. The thing that made countries unique was government reforms, you know, which is still there, kinda, in EU5, just not as in-depth as it was in EU4, obviously, at least the tier 1s. So that I'm super satisfied with. And then national ideas. National ideas were, for me, in EU4, how you figured out what a country is supposed to do, not missions, that, guide you towards, oh, you're the Ottomans, conquer the Balkans, conquer Anatolia, now conquer the Mamluks, now go to Morocco, now go to this, go to that. It wasn't missions for me, man. And, even I've played A to Z, dude. I've probably, I did releasables. I've done a bunch of other stuff as well. I'm 99% confident in saying that I'm the person in the world that has played the most countries in Europa Universalis, 4 out of anyone. And to me, the main thing, and even what was the theme of A to Z, I played every country in EU5. Literally, I played every single country in EU5 with unique national ideas. And that was, to me, I know I'm going off on a tangent and ranting here a little bit, but bear with me, was what made countries feel unique. And that's how you discovered kind of the way you're supposed to be playing these nations, right? You play Castile and Portugal, you got all of these colonization things and stuff like that, and boat things. That's how you play them. Obviously, you got those things in EU5 as well, and sure, we had like, what was it? 3 and 3. I keep forgetting how many national ideas there was, but let's say with the ambition and with the traditions and stuff like that, it's 9 or 10 or 11, whatever. And even though in EU5 there might be more of these for some countries, they might have like 15 unique advances, you get like 1 in the Age of Traditions, then you get like 2 in Renaissance, 2 more in the Age of Discovery, 1 in Absolutism, 3 in Revolutions. And a lot of people, man, once again, with EU5 even being longer, people just don't play that far. And for you to figure out how a nation is meant to be played, sure, you can take a look at the unique content at the start of the game, right? But then you got to scroll, okay, what's the advances? Where are they? How do you find them? Whereas for any country in EU5, man, in EU4, you just clicked on them on the map, you had these national ideas right here, and it was so easy to see how you're supposed to play some of these countries. Just giving you examples here, like Portugal and Castile, right? You pick Brandenburg, oh, look at this. Almost every single thing is army, right? You take Albania or Serbia right next to it. Oh my God, so many defensive stuff, right? Byzantium, religious stuff. Florence playing tall stuff. Venice, trade stuff. And sure, a lot of countries, like I just said, do have these things in EU5, but they're not clear cut. And with you going down the tech tree or whatever it's called, or, in EU5, everyone still does the same thing, right? Everyone still does the same thing. Everyone has the same tree, and everyone researches the same thing, just not in the same order. So let's say you play a game of EU5, and let's say only the first 3 institutions spawn. The banking, Renaissance, and professional armies. Nothing else spawns. Let's just say it's like that. And the game runs for 200 years. In those 200 years, everyone, in Europe at least, will have researched everything in those tech trees. So with the merger of national ideas and idea groups into the advances tree, you got everyone doing every single idea group that you can do for that time period, while also unlocking 1 or 2 of their national ideas in only 200 years, right? So yes, if you take a look at the unique advances for every country in EU5 and you put them all together, yes, you can kind of see what you're kind of supposed to do as these nations, but they still don't feel unique enough. And it's, once again, not even about the missions, not talking about missions at all right here, just going off of national ideas. I feel like, that something could be done right there, man, to where, you got the advances trees, and let's say, how many ages are there in EU5? There's 5 ages, and there's 3 trees in every age except for the first one. Well, it's not really the first one, actually, the second one, in which there's 4. So you got 3 and 3, 6, and 4, 10, you got like 14 trees or 15 that you need to research, and then everyone does all of them at the same time. Maybe, and I don't know about game design or anything right here, but maybe you got all 15 of those trees immediately, and then everyone decides what to take, right? Because, maybe as Portugal or Castile, you'd hyper focus on colonization, so why not get that one immediately? Instead of waiting to the Age of Discovery, and then, you don't do any boat stuff if you're a landlocked country. And sure, you don't gotta research those things, but I don't know, I'm yapping on. I could make a whole video about, national ideas and what I think about them as opposed to advances, and it would be a 3-hour video, but yeah, nations don't feel unique enough, man. Even with the stuff that they have in EU5, and, events are cool and all, most of them aren't. I've said this already. Most of them are like, oh, this country has 30 unique events. Meanwhile, 20 of them are for an advisor that you don't hire because he's too expensive, or building a unique building because it's too expensive. So There are very cool events, though. Don't get me wrong. Some countries do have very cool events that are definitely worth remembering if you play them. But honestly, man, this is going to be a 1 from me. Yeah, this is going to be a 1 for me. And then game performance and stability. Honestly, EU5 is hard to run. For me, at the start, I would have set a 5, man. But ever since 1.1 dropped, honestly, it's gone down to a 3. So yeah, this is my rating on this. Economy and trade 5, AI behavior and historical plausibility 2, UI 4, content depth and nation flavor 1, game performance and stability 3. I know I yapped a very long time about this, but yeah, just had to get it out there. Obviously, once again, use your own perception of this. Don't copy my answers or anything like that. Which of the following are your biggest pain points right now? Select up to 3. Economy balance, starting deficit, depth spiral, scaling, AI aggression and passivity, AI historical plausibility, bourgeois ahistorical paths, UI UX, finding information is difficult, lack of nation-specific flavor and unique content, game performance, lag, technical stability, rebel revolt, frequency and behavior. No, not at all. No, I don't think this should even be here. Multiplayer balance, I don't play multiplayer. Bugs carried over from launch. Honestly, I'm not noticing any bugs. So for me, man, it has to be lack of nation-specific flavor and unique content. Like I just said about this, I've been talking about it for 10 minutes. Yes, countries do have unique flavor. It's just not really there. Every country is samey, and that was one of my biggest fears, honestly, that, you know, EU5 launched like Vicky 3 did. Every country was the same. It isn't really like that. It isn't really that bad in EU5, but yeah, this is one of my biggest pain points. AI historical plausibility, also one of my biggest pain points. They don't do what they're supposed to, a lot of these countries. And then this isn't a problem for me, honestly. I know a lot of countries start off like poor and stuff like that and immediately losing money. This is just a slight tweak. I don't think this is a problem at all. You fix it in just a couple of months or a year or two in game. And I wouldn't even say it's a bug or anything like that. It just needs a slight tweak. So that's not a problem at all for me. AI aggression, honestly, it's all right for me. Passivity, sure. This not game performance, lag, or technical stability. Yeah, I'm gonna go with these, man. For me, it's these 3 right here. Maybe for some of you guys, it's something different. Like I said, fill out your own survey. Moving on to the next page right here. Share your experience with the latest major update 1.1 Rossback. Have you played patch 1.1 Rossback? Select all that apply. Yes on the live branch. Yes via the open beta. There we go. How would you rate the following changes introduced in patch 1.1 from very negative to very positive? Economic rebalancing? Well, I would say pretty positive. AI behavior and aggression? Once again, pretty positive. Army templates and levy rally points, very positive. Local governors, very positive. HRE balance fixes, yeah, they don't get gobbled up that much, honestly. Just because the HRE still has so much work to be done, but just based off of what we got right now, I'm going to go positive. So yeah, overall, man, I'm very satisfied with patch 1.1. Yeah, these are my answers for that. Moving on to the next page right here, help us understand how you feel about the depth and variety of gameplay experience. How much variety do you feel exists between different nations? Yeah. There we go. And I'm not gonna give my answer right here. What would most improve your sense of a nation uniqueness and flavor? Just because I yapped on about it and for the past 15 minutes. I feel like, you know, the national idea stuff of that, you know, I just elaborated on, you know, puts that into perspective pretty clearly. But what I am going to write is, I'm going to put it down very concisely right here, man. What would most improve your sense of nation uniqueness and flavor? Okay, so this is what I wrote out. Is basically what I've been yapping about. A feel of how countries are supposed to be played. You knew what a country is good at historically just off of a glance in EU4's national ideas, and then you leaned into the strengths of said country. In EU5 is not as clear what certain countries are supposed to do. And by the way, guys, this is just my perception of it, okay? I'm not saying I'm right here or anything like that, or that's how it's supposed to be. Just giving my opinion here. For example, some are good at being defensive, some are army quantity-based, some are naval, some exploratory focused, etc. In EU5, it's not as clear. Also, I know what everyone wants. Also, mission trees. There we go. I'm going to put that in just for you boys right there, even though I would appreciate mission trees, but I don't feel like we need them. And then moving on next right here. How would you rate Paradox Tinto's communication and transparency with the community? I was going to say excellent, but then we had the whole 1.0.1 thing and everyone going on vacation. and leaving us with a pretty bad patch. I'm not gonna hound these guys for that, man. I know so many people are working so hard on this game, so shout out to all the devs and all the effort they put in, man, and everyone on that team. But yeah, I would say it's excellent, man. I honestly don't have complaints about any of this. What is your sources you use for EU5 news and community discussion? Well, you should put in the Red Hawk right here, baby. There we go. A little let's maybe we can skew the survey a little bit. Just kidding. Put whatever you want. For me though, it's Tinto Talks, it's Discord, and it's Reddit. Yeah, YouTube too? No, I don't really watch videos. I do watch a lot of flea market videos recently though. Ever since Outdoor Boys retired, man. You know, I used to watch Outdoor Boys before sleep every night, but I've seen every one of his videos like 5 times. But now I'm into watching flea market stuff a lot. Yeah, flea market is the new Outdoor Boys. Let me put you on that. I watched this dude called Flippity Flip, I think, or something like that. This guy from Carolina, North Carolina, I think he goes to flea markets. So shout out to him, check him out. Unless he's racist or something like that, then don't. But yeah, I like his videos. So what the hell am I even talking about? So yeah, that's how I get my news for EU5, man. If you could add one feature to fix or fix to EU5, what would it be? Well, this is a pretty powerful answer. One feature or fix? Railroading. Yeah, that's my amalgamation of an answer. This makes countries do stuff that they're supposed to. How do you railroad someone? Via missions. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you railroad a country through its missions, we add missions, and via that, they do what they're supposed to do. Railroading. Hell yeah. And that's my submission right there, ladies and gentlemen, of the EU5 version 1.1 feedback survey. Thank you for taking time to complete the survey. Stay ambitious. And I think that is where we're going to wrap it up for today, ladies and gentlemen. We went through the dev diary and this feedback survey as well. Like I said, check out the forums, man. You can read the dev diary for yourself and fill out this survey if you care about how EU5 is going to develop and if you want to make your voices heard. Once again, don't just copy my answers just because, you know, a YouTuber did that, so I'll do that too. If you play EU5, fill it out for yourself. If you don't, I don't know. Maybe you watch a lot of EU5 and you feel like you know it. Maybe you could still fill it out. I don't know. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, man. Let me know in the comments below if you did fill out the survey and what you think about some of these questions right here. And of course, let me know what you think about all the changes we discussed about Orthodoxy and Hellenism. But yeah, I think that's a pretty good place to wrap it up. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment all the stuff that I said, subscribe if you haven't already for more EU5 news just like this. I will be covering the development of EU5 1.2 and the fate of the Phoenix immersion pack on this channel. Yeah, that's it from me for now. See you next time.